Welcome to the Dogs Brigade again. Today's episode is all about tripods, not the camera equipment. We're talking about dogs who have lost a limb due to cancer, congenital challenges, or injury. In this episode, we'll be highlighting a three-legged adoptable special guest, speaking with the chief surgeon who operated on him. She'll tell us about when amputation makes sense and how dogs adapt. Then we're interviewing the founders of a foundation dedicated to providing resources to amputee pets and their people. And lastly, I'll be telling you about the stories of some notable three-legged pups. We hope this episode serves as a one-stop shop for all of your tripod curiosity, whether you just love dogs or have an amputee pet at home. Through our work sponsoring shelter dogs with medical needs, we've embraced the motto that dogs are born with 3 legs and a spare. We hope you enjoy the episode.
Oh, that looks like a good dog. That's a good dog. Yeah, that looks like a good dog. A very good dog.
Please join me in welcoming Champ. Come here, dude. Hey, whoa. What's up, dude? All right, bud. That was a great entrance. It was so good. Okay, this dog's gonna be very fun. Champ is an almost 2-year-old pitty. That's gonna be great ASMR. He is available for adoption from Maison Sur in West Hollywood. I love when treats rain from the sky on the show. It happens more often than you think. If he just comes in and out, it's gonna be amazing. He he is good with other dogs and kids with a proper introduction. Dude. You can have it. Check out the entire space. Amazing. This is amazing. His rescue says that he is a resilient and lovable tripod who's ready to find his forever home. He was rescued by Hope for Paws when he was in terrible shape after losing a leg. His story was fully documented by them. We'll leave a link to the full video in the description. Fair warning, it is pretty graphic up to the point where he does get his surgery. What's up, guy? Yeah, I see. It's a really nice toy. It's really nice. I think we got to give him his own little mic, little clip-on mic for these squeaks. After his initial wound cleaning and bandaging, he woke up the next day wagging his tail, and it's just a really heartwarming, full story that you get from watching that video. And now he's here. He went in for surgery, which went very, very well. He worked very hard in physical therapy, and again, now he's here on our podcast. Some more words from the rescue. Champ's spirit remained unbroken. Thanks to a dedicated rescue team, he received the care and rehabilitation he needed to thrive. Now, this energetic dog embraces life with enthusiasm. I don't know if you could tell. Exploring the great outdoors and spreading joy wherever he goes. Champ is looking for an owner who understands his breed and can provide the love and support he deserves. After all he's been through, he's eager to share a lifetime of happiness and adventure. He is a special dog. You were coming in a little hot. It's so funny. I'm not used to... We can't speak when they're drinking. Good job, bud. I'm not used to squeaking toys because my dog is deaf. So I almost don't, I couldn't, when I squeaked it, I was like, I don't know why I expected him to respond. But then he did. So I remembered that we are not with my dog. Champ's adoption fee is sponsored by 805 Poop Patrol, a pet waste removal service in Santa Barbara, California. This is a first for us, but let's clap it up for them. Thank you so much. They left some words for me to read, and this is their dog, Bambi. We adopted a senior Chihuahua with health issues after her owner had boarded her at a local dog daycare. Her owner passed away and had 0 next of kin. My son, who works at the daycare, inquired after the dog had been there for months, just alone and scared. We contacted the estate, and they were thrilled as they didn't know what to do about her. So now we have Bambi in our pack. and she couldn't be happier. We just want someone else to feel the joy we feel daily with Bambi in our lives. Thank you again to 805 Poop Patrol in Santa Barbara, California. If you would like to sponsor a future guest's adoption fee, you can email podcast@weratedogs.com. We are thrilled to be joined by the Chief of Surgery at CARES, Dr. Williams. Thanks for being here.
Of course.
That is the California Animal Rehabilitation and Emergency Surgery. You actually performed the surgery on Champ?
Yeah.
This is so cool.
Thank you.
This is so cool.
Yeah.
I like your work, by the way.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Very well done.
Yeah,
Very well done.
Mm-hmm.
To start, could you tell me a little bit about CARES and your role with them?
Yeah, absolutely. Started out as mainly a hospital to help rescue dogs, which is amazing. I was extremely lucky to kind of be connected. I knew who Hope for Paws were. They were starting up a hospital, really focused on all the rescue animals that need surgery. So mainly focusing on surgery.
Got it.
That came together, sounded crazy at first, and then kind of just continued to grow. Not only are we doing, I'd say 75% surgery on rescue animals, but 25% lower cost procedures as well, because
So important.
so great. So all of us came from specialty medicine, really, and just being able to do things at a little bit of a lower cost, but still having all the toys, all the things I need, all of the overnight care, pretty special.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the main part with CARES.
Incredible. Yeah, we started a foundation in 2021 that we sponsor the medical care of shelter dogs. So I have some context about how those costs can skyrocket. So that's incredibly important. Thank you so much for what you do. What are the most common reasons that you would suggest an amputation?
Right. Most common out there in the world, cancers, unfortunately, we see a lot. They can range from we can cure them from cancer with an amputation versus, unfortunately, more aggressive cancers. That's just kind of the first step in their treatment. So we typically would then pair with something like chemotherapy or radiation after. But the cancer is removed almost all with an amputation, right? That will help with prognosis. And then also they can be painful. So these masses can be really large. They can be part of the bone. And when bone expands, we know that hurts. So not only are we helping with their prognosis, we're helping with their comfort. So that's probably the most common one. Other things we can see, nasty wounds.
Yeah.
Sometimes they will heal. The body's amazing. It heals most things, but it takes time. And sometimes we don't have that luxury of time. We don't have that luxury of finances. Or an owner says, I just want him to be able to go to the beach in 2 weeks. And that's literally what an amputation can do for dogs, and cats. And that's another reason. Fractures as well. Sometimes fractures, almost every fracture you can fix if you're given that fracture in the right amount of time.
Okay.
So if we have 2-month-old fractures that have healed completely wrong, trying to come in, stretch out those muscles, get things to heal, get that leg to even be functional, it doesn't work all the time. And it's a lot of money and time to put into things. Sometimes an amputation, once again, gets them back to running, jumping, playing crazy things in like 2 weeks. So those are the main reasons.
Got it. What are some of you mentioned a few of them, but the factors that you weigh when determining if it's the right decision? You mentioned cost. Are there other things like which leg? Right.
So dogs especially carry 60% of their weight in the front. So it's a little bit harder for them to use.
Right?
Exactly. Yeah. So
Heavy brains.
Okay. Or just muscles. Brains and muscle, I guess. So the 60% in the front, it can be a little bit harder for them to lose a leg in the front. That being said, he's doing great. I've amputated a Great Pyrenees who was huge, had one in the front and did great. So front versus back doesn't really scare me much. The things that would maybe I would think twice would be other underlying conditions where they then can't undergo anesthesia, right? So if we have a dog that has chronic renal failure, well, I don't want him to have anesthesia. So that's one of those cases, heart disease. There's a lot of things like that. but not specifically with the limb. And then underlying either severe orthopedic disease or neurologic disease. I actually find the dogs that are weak neurologically, they can be a little bit harder sometimes. But even some arthritis, some elbow dysplasia, most of them will do really, really well. And it's, once again, taking away their pain, which is huge.
Yeah, and probably primary for the pet parents as
Absolutely.
well. Yeah. Do you remember Champ's specific case?
Of course.
Yeah?
Yeah, it was interesting timing because I hadn't moved to full-time yet at CARES. So I was just there once a week. And he came in on a good day. And so our hospitalist was obviously kind of getting him admitted, all the wound care. And then they were like, how soon can you come? Obviously, you go sooner rather than later for that wound. Pretty extensive. Half of my surgery was already done. Not really, but
yeah.
So, yeah, but it was shocking. He never growled. He never, I just can't imagine what he went through, and then to still be lovely. It's insane. No human would be like that. They're special.
In that initial footage, you can see the man who's there switch tactics when he realized that he was just...
Yeah, he's like, I don't need a rabies pole.
Yeah,
and honestly, those type of, that equipment, very fair when they're in that much pain, right? Like, I don't blame anyone.
Of course.
But not once. And it was crazy. His whole recovery, we tried him in an underwater treadmill. We did all these things, and he was like, all right, cool. Yeah. So. Do
you remember being in the tub?
Yeah.
Oh. And he was like, well, I mentioned it. Sorry. He was really wagging as soon as he came to after the initial cleaning of the wound, which is, I think says everything about his personality.
Yeah, he's a good boy.
How long did it take him, or maybe what is normal for them to realize, like, oh, I can walk like pretty normally?
So it all depends on where they start from.
Okay.
When we have dogs who aren't using the leg, they go around quicker in days.
So like when they already weren't using it?
Exactly. They're already not using the leg, and now they're like, oh, I'm
freedom.
My buddy. Exactly.
I weigh less.
I weigh less. No, it's true though.
Yeah.
Like, look at his front. That's weight that's holding him down, right? And it wasn't doing anything for him. The ones that are using their legs, so I always tell owners we'll keep them 1 to 2 days, right, after surgery, because sometimes they need a little extra help. They need a little extra help figuring out how to get up and around. We have 24-hour technicians who know how to do this, so leave that to us. But by time we're 1 or 2 days out, they're walking out of here. It's so cool.
How does that differ from if you were to try to just repair a fracture or leave the limb and go through the rehab with the limb?
Right. So bandages and wounds are annoying and can be painful. So they'll be off of it. They might not be using the leg. That actually shows people, though, right, that they could amputate because they're not using the leg, right? So, and a fracture, same thing, right? They're not using the leg. They're getting around fine. Imagine if you took that away from them.
Yep.
So it's kind of nice. They show it for you. Sorry.
I think that pretty much answered it. Like they realized pretty quickly that they can walk without it.
Exactly.
And most of the time they already could. I guess a longer adjustment period if they were relying on the limb previously, which makes sense.
Yeah.
When is a dog a candidate for a prosthetic, if ever?
So it sounds great, a prosthesis. The issues that we run into, so there's 2 different types of prosthesis.
Okay.
You can have a nub that you then just strap something to, or they actually have implants that are into the bone that grow in.
Got it.
And those are part of the dog.
Yeah.
There's not too many places that do that, just being honest. There's maybe one at Davis. They might be doing it still. There's a place in the UK that I've actually reached out to send some cases to, but it's not done very frequently because their size also, they vary. So you don't have standard
everything's
implants.
custom.
Everything is custom. And honestly, they don't need it a lot.
Yeah.
So I think at first, everyone wants to go down that road. But then you see them like this and we think, oh, we really don't need to.
Yeah.
The other thing, hi, buddy. Yeah, I have one. The other thing is the prosthesis that aren't part of their body, that don't grow in, that just kind of are placed on, they have to fit perfectly. And if they don't fit perfectly, they rub, they get sores. It's also very hard to fit, good boy, a prosthesis on this flat side. So as you can see, we've removed all the bones.
Yeah, okay.
What do we put on here? So most of the time, honestly, it's more annoying. And they
that
really
makes sense.
Don't need it. Yeah.
That makes sense. We hear a lot with humans about like phantom limb.
Yeah.
Is that with dogs as well?
So we don't know because they don't tell us.
Yeah. Well, Champ. Well, here's the microphone.
Right, exactly. What do you think, buddy?
This is your opportunity.
Yeah. That being said, we are careful.
Sorry. Okay, please.
Okay. That being said, we are very careful with things like cautery at the nerves.
Yeah.
So we don't want to produce any excessive inflammation at the nerves, which could cause inflammation in those nerve bundles, a neuroma. We don't want any of that just in case.
Yeah.
But most of the time, yeah, we really don't see a problem.
Because occasionally we get sent or a video goes viral of a dog who has had an amputation and then they're trying to like scratch their ear. But that's because they're doing it with a deeper part of that muscle that hasn't been removed.
Exactly.
So that's not necessarily phantom limb. That's just they still have that part of their body.
Exactly. Yeah. Oh, quiet.
You're being perfect.
Yes,
you're being so perfect. So dogs who've had an amputation, what should they look out for medically later in life or down the road from that surgery?
So we don't think that they're more likely to get diseases in their joints or other masses or anything like that. But what we think about is if they have a ligament tear, like an ACL tear, if they have a little bit of arthritis, they're going to be affected more, right? Because they only have 3 legs. Dogs do really great on 3. They don't do really great on 2. So if he was to tear his, what we call a cruciate ligament or an ACL ligament,
very common,
I would get him into surgery quicker. It's not that I wouldn't do the surgery though, right? So just that things, like a little thing can be a little bit more.
Okay.
But it doesn't make it not fixable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very good to know. What's one thing that has surprised you about tripod dogs just in general throughout your career?
Oh, the 3-legged thing with a spare it's real. It's, I mean, it's literally mentioned to us probably in like the first week of that school. Okay. And it's so real. And they do not care. They do not care to the point of they're so happy to be out of pain, not confined with their people. I mean, they get more attention because they look different. Like they rock it. We,
again, through the foundation, we occasionally get comments that they're like, they feel really sad for a dog that's lost, not just limbs, but like if you need to remove an eye or a tail for a happy tail syndrome or something like that. And yeah, I wish part of this is kind of erasing that like gut instinct to feel bad. And so I think that sentiment, that phrase also is a healthy reminder. Because they're very resilient.
They are not people. And that's sometimes fantastic, right? They are not people. They don't need 2 arms to drive a car. They don't need 2 legs to walk around. They are just different and they adapt so much better in so many ways, right?
Yeah.
From blood draws to surgeries to posing for x-rays. Like they're not humans. They don't care. And there goes your microphone.
It wouldn't be the first time.
Okay.
It would not be the first time. It would be the first if he were to take it. Right. That would be a first. But to just do a little nibble is.
So we need to work on that.
It's fine.
Okay.
Well, if he plans on doing a whole podcast like rotation, like a press run,
right?
Then maybe train him out of that. But for us, it's totally fine. We're going to speak to the Tripawds Foundation next, and you love them.
So really weird. When you were saying tripod awareness and you spelled it that way, I was like, I wonder if
he might know something.
Yeah. And then, it's actually a website that I recommend any family that is even thinking about an amputation. Interestingly enough, my husband, who is not a veterinarian at all, told me about it because he had a 3-legged dog. And that's how we met.
Oh, that's so cute.
Yes, not through veterinary medicine, but either way, he had a 3-legged dog. He told me about this because I was telling him about how I did all these amputations, and sometimes you get a little bit of pushback, and he showed me the website. It's fantastic.
Has it helped you as a resource, like cite as like a way to push people to that?
100%.
Amazing.
We never push. We just always strongly recommend. But it's great because they have a whole cat section. We don't have much else, honestly, to go to. Videos with cats with amputations. It happens all the time, but there's not a lot about it. The other thing that I love it for is people with families. So kids, what are they going to look like? It's a little scary sometimes the first time they come home. They have a big incision there. Little Frankenstein-y looking. But it's nice that, hey, look, Champ is going to be having this surgery. This is what he's going to look like. But then you can follow that case and say, but in 2 months, look at him running on the beach. It's fantastic. It puts so many people at ease. It's actually lovely that it's not doctor run. Yeah. Because people will think, we're, I don't know, poisoning the ideas or whatever. But it's fantastic, and I recommend it all the time. So this is kind of funny that
amazing.
we're also interviewing them.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for all you do. This was delightful. And I'm sure Champ would thank you if he could talk.
Champ, do I get a
Come
thank
here,
you?
bud.
He says no. Come here.
Come here, dude.
Oh, right. Go away. You actually got it. You got it.
All right, we are joined by Rene and Jim, co-founders of the Tripawds Foundation. Thank you so much for joining us.
Oh my God. Thank you for being here.
Thanks so much.
For us being here. Oh my God. We're so excited. Can you tell?
And like I said right before we started, if you do see Champ fly in and out, he's supposed to be here. He's not a dog that just, he's supposed to be here. Could you all share the mission of your foundation real quick?
Sure.
Yes. You want to go?
Well, the Tripawds Foundation has a simple mission to help amputee pets and their people everywhere. And we do that through assistance programs that help pay for amputation for families in need. We're strong believers in rehab, so we actually reimburse anyone with a 3-legged cat or dog that gets evaluated by a certified practitioner. And we have a toll-free helpline and a huge community of support that helps connect people in ways that they understand each other. Because not everyone gets it when you go to the lengths of amputating a leg for your pet.
And you shared a couple of them, but what are the projects you're currently working on? Because there's quite a few.
Oh, sure. Well, we are constantly fundraising to help cover the cost of amputation surgery. And we contribute $1,000 towards that cost for people who are income qualified. And we do 3 grants a month. And it's an amazing program that our donors make possible. Now,
we have the Tripawds Rehab Reimbursement Program, and that's not income qualified. Anyone with a 3-legged dog or cat can get their first consult with a certified CCRT or CCRP. These are certified rehab practitioners in the vet world to tell them what might work best for their dog, because every animal's different. Every cat's different, and there's weight concerns. There might be compensatory issues. But we also have a program that is kind of for the pets and the people called the Kaiserin Fund in honor of a dog named Kaiserin. And this sends a care package to 2 people a month if their animal lost a leg to cancer. And there's some treats and some helpful items for the animal, as well as some informational materials and ebooks for the person. So we have the Pet Care Cancer Fund. We mentioned the toll-free helpline, 844-TRIPOD. So anyone can call and have a shoulder to cry on. If we immediately say we're not vets, if it's an emergency, we don't answer medical questions. But, oh, my dog hasn't pooped for 2 days after surgery. That's a common thing. People get it. So we save veterinarians time addressing those emotional concerns with that program?
Yeah, we like to say, we step in with that part because it's a very upsetting situation when you find out your cat or your dog has to lose a leg. So we're here for that, but we're also here for people who are adopting a tripod. They're irresistible, and a lot of people, they see a three-legged dog or cat, they're like, I have to have them. But there's things that you should know before you do that, and they're amazing animals, and they can be wonderful companions for a long time if we are really careful about how we care for them.
And before we get into those details, maybe the biggest program that the Tripawds Foundation makes possible is the Tripod Support Circle. This is I
was just about to ask.
It's a public social media network just for tripods people. And it's a free network. People can join. We had a live event today. There's a live chat. There's private messaging. There's a connection feature where you can connect with tripods in your area. And it's a familiar social feed. There's an app for it. And it's only about tripods. Three-legged dogs and cats, and all the resources are consolidated in there, so you don't get all the bells and whistles and the squirrels from Facebook or whatever platform you prefer. But it's another familiar platform where people can go and we basically do this so people don't feel alone.
So it's not, what I'm hearing and what I knew going into this was that it's not just about the resources you provide. This is a community, and this audience knows more than most that community really drives a lot of good in the world, and it's one of my favorite things about the Tripod Foundation or Tripawds Foundation.
Yeah.
Community does matter.
Yes. Before we get too much further, could you tell me who's on your lap?
This is Nellie, and Nellie,
Nellie
is our honorary spokes dog. Nellie came.
So she's a 3.5-legged dog.
Yes.
She has an old injury that somebody didn't pay attention to. So when we were at loss for a tripod's companion and mascot, we've had 2 tripods in the past, and we were looking for a third. And Nellie came up in such a manner that we thought we could then decide whether or not she needs an amputation. And we've done lots of rehab and lots of consultation and discovered that she is best managing her condition. So she has an orthotic device that she wears around, and we put her in a stroller for longer walks.
Yeah.
But don't tell her. She doesn't know.
Yeah. Is she a shepherd mix or full shepherd?
She is, yeah.
She's German Shepherd.
Okay.
She came to us from a shelter in San Jose, California.
Oh, I love shepherds so much. I had one, and now I love them very much. That's how it happens.
Yeah.
So real quick, a German Shepherd mix was the reason we started Tripawds in 2006. So it's been almost 20 years. On Thanksgiving Day, our dog Jerry came out of the UC Davis Veterinary Hospital with one less leg. And we freaked out. But we realized that dogs and cats adapt much better than people do. And he turned our life upside down. We eventually sold everything and hit the road in an RV to give him the road trip of a lifetime. But he lived 2 years with, he lost a leg to osteosarcoma, but he loved life on 3 legs for 2 years. And by the time that was, all good said and done, we had discussion forums and a live chat on our website. And in 2014, we created the Tripawds Foundation. And now it's an amazing resource, but it's all about the community like we were talking about.
And Jerry was the direct inspiration for all of that?
He was. We called him our first chief fun officer. He showed us how to, live life to the fullest. A while after we lost Jerry, Wyatt Ray came into our life, another German Shepherd who lost a rear leg to neglect as a puppy. And we helped him love life on 3 legs for 12 years.
Wow.
Because of the things we had learned about rehab and weight management and regular conditioning exercises and such.
Yeah, along the way, my background is as a journalist, and so I love interviewing vets and anybody in the veterinary world who can teach us good ways to take care of our animals, and especially where tripodism is involved. So we have been hosting a podcast for
I told you it happened.
Oh my God, he does fly. gosh, what's his story?
So Champ, actually, it's quite a story, and in the description of the episode that you're going to be a part of, will be his full story, because they have. Sorry, now he's squeaking. Because I have footage of his initial rescue. So he was found with half of his front leg already torn off. And they're not sure of the exact details of it, but the surgeon who performed his amputation is who we interviewed right before you, who had wonderful things to say about you as well. But yeah, he's incredibly resilient, and he's Adoptable from Maison Sur in West Hollywood, and all of our episodes feature an adoptable dog. So of course, for this episode, we had to have a tripod.
Fantastic.
Thank you for that.
Of course. Sorry, please continue on Jerry.
Oh, no. Well, it was with Jerry. He was our first tripod. So we learned some things the hard way about limitations and managing activity and things. And that's why I started interviewing vets. And we started our Tripod Talk podcast way back when it was like 2010, something like that, 9, 10. But we wanted to learn, how can we help them so that they don't injure themselves, because they do things, they'll try to keep up with all the other dogs, but is it good for them? Not always. Yeah. Not always. In short little increments, it is, of course. But one of the biggest responsibilities of managing a tripod is to manage their activity. And that's why we have a lot of information about rehab therapy and pain management and topics like that can help them enjoy being a cat, being a dog, doing those types of things that they love to do, but keeping them safe and injury-free.
Of course.
We like to help people be the best health stewards they can for their animal and live their life the best they can for as long as possible, because every case is different, and tripods will go and go and go until they hurt. Nellie would run and run and run, but be up the stump if she didn't have us to maintain.
Champ is validating for you right now.
Yes.
Yeah. What are some of the most common questions asked on your forums?
I think it depends on what stage they're at. Generally, for a brand new tripod parent, somebody who's bringing home their animal from surgery, that is basically, when is my dog going to pee or poop? It's like the number one thing. Everybody's wondering, how do they balance? How do they do it? Generally, they do figure it out. But during the first few days, even a week, they're really wonky. They're on trazodone, and they're kind of, what's going on here? So it's very, very nerve-wracking. So we're here to kind of tell them, keep an eye on things, but what you're seeing sounds very normal. And as always, check in with your vet. But that's a big concern.
One of the first questions we often get is about prosthetics.
Yes.
And most often we get that question too late, because we've spoken to the best certified orthopedic surgeons in the country and know that certain articulating appendages need to be available for a prosthetic to work best. And there are devices out there and braces that will help, but for a true prosthetic, you want to talk to your vet before surgery, because the more of the limb you can keep, you have more to attach to. And there are devices out there that people are getting to that are helping dogs get around with a full limb prosthetic, but not as well as that if that device was articulated naturally. So prosthetics is one. Wheelchairs is another question. That's a perfectly good question. Wyatt had a wheelchair in his senior years, near the end. But there's so much you can do before you need wheels. And if you use wheels too soon, they can do more harm than good. So this is one of the reasons we have our free rehab program, where the best person to answer that question is a certified rehab therapist. So go get consultation with a certified therapist who can determine if and when wheels are the best to do.
Delightful. And so I'll try to, you guys alluded to a handful of individual pieces of advice, but I'll try to kind of wrap it up into one question. What advice would you give to people who are considering adopting a 3-legged dog? It's the question.
I would say, do you have something?
I would start with the number one piece of advice we get from all vets and vet techs, and it's be concerned about proper weight management.
Yeah.
With one less
Thank
leg,
you.
especially
That's
with
true.
front leg
Yeah.
tripods, they're carrying 60 to 70% of their weight up front. If one of those legs is all of a sudden gone, that's a lot of compensatory weight. So watch the weight management. But to step back a bit, go ahead and adopt. Because yes, they can and do live healthy, long lives, but be concerned about certain things, so learn how to help your pet. Weight management.
Weight management and home environmental modifications around your home. Things like traction, putting down no-slip carpeting, because they can walk a lot of times. They'll gladly walk on your slippery floors, but it's not great for them. It's kind of like ice skating all the time, which can get really tiring. Anybody who's tried to do it. So you want to make their home environment as comfortable and fail-safe as possible. Things like stairs, you want to make sure that stairs are blocked off if you have like a big, long staircase. But basically traction. That's the number one thing. And weight loss, like Jim said. Weight loss or just keeping a good body condition.
So the traction bit comes back to be aware that tripods have an adjusted gait and stance. They're going to eventually move that front leg in the middle or that rear leg in the middle, and these can cause compensatory issues in spine alignment and arthritis, which is very common in tripods. So just be aware that tripods are awesome, but they are different. And when it comes to traction, simple things like trimming the fur between the paw pads and keeping those nails good and short, or attaching some toe grips or booties helps them from splaying out, because they can slip and they no longer have that spare leg. So once that spare leg is gone, you want to protect those remaining limbs the rest of their lives.
Fantastic. And I love how you backed it up to take that step, do it, because while there's some asterisks to that, not only do they have your amazing resource to help, but they're just a dog and they're going to love you, and it's going to change their lives as much as it's going to change yours.
Yeah, absolutely. They don't know they're missing a leg. We're the ones with the hang up.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're just happy to be loved, just like any other dog or cat.
The one elephant in the room we didn't talk about is the most common cause for amputations, and that's cancer. So when it comes to that, the advice there is don't tell your dog. They don't know they're sick. So you want to focus on quality of life, not quantity. The big question we get is, how long does my dog have? They come to us, they find us because of cancer, they had amputation. How long do they have? What you want to do is look at how good can that time be.
Yeah.
We decided not to do chemotherapy treatments with Jerry because it was 6 hours away and it was 2006. So it was a little more difficult, but we focused on quality of life and gave him a good quality of life. And he ended up living 2 years anyway. So every dog is different is my final piece of advice for anyone who's considering adopting a dog or cat.
I think that's a very reassuring sentiment for anybody that's going through kind of the final stages of their relationship with their dog is that to always have quality in mind. That's very well said. Okay, my last question, and I did ask Dr. Williams this right before you, but what is one thing that surprises you about tripod dogs?
I would say they really don't know they're different. Seeing them interact with other dogs in a group setting, I think it's really us that projects that onto dogs sometimes, but they're like, hey, yeah, what's up? Hey, how you doing? They don't count the number of legs on other dogs and compare against theirs. It's surprising because the first time we ever met another tripod with our Jerry, we were expecting them to like bond,
Yeah.
they just hung out. They were just dogs. But like I was saying earlier, it's all on us, and it's our emotions that they absorb. So it really surprised me to learn that they just don't need or want to be treated any differently than you would normally treat them.
Mm-hmm. And nothing surprises me anymore, having seen so many amazing tripods out there in the world. What did surprise me is their incredible resiliency. I mean, dogs bounce back. When we went to pick up Jerry and we saw him in the hospital, I thought they'd be bringing him out on a stretcher, IVs attached, and he came hopping out.
He just pranced right on out.
With a smile on his face. And that's the first thing I noticed was he was smiling. And the day before, I have pictures to compare. He was grimacing in pain. The ears were back. His leg was up. And the next day he was hopping along and just happy to be free of the pain. So another thing we tell people is you're not getting rid of the leg, you're getting rid of the pain when it comes to a tumorous cancer that can be very painful.
Jim and Rene, thank you so much for your time. Please check out the Tripawds community. Is there anything else that you'd like to share with this audience? Again, the community that you all have built is phenomenal, and I really encourage anyone that has a tripod or is thinking about adopting a tripod, maybe even Champ, to check out their resources. But anything else to add?
I would just add to anyone considering adopting a tripod or facing amputation, you're not alone. And every dog is different. So connect with others who understand what you're doing. And that's all available with the Tripawds community and the helpline and the podcast and all the resources.
We're here for you any time during your dog or cat's life. We're never more than a keyboard away. So join us.
Fantastic. Really appreciate it. To end this episode, I wanted to share 5, there ended up being 5, of my favorite stories, dogs that are tripods, just to have some fun at the end of the episode. The first is Cleo, once named Mika. She is an amputee dog whose rescue story gained national attention when she was adopted by Zach, a fellow amputee from Arizona.
From day one, it's just been the sweetest dog.
We first told you about Mika back in July.
Hi, pretty girl.
When the sheriff's office first found Mika, she'd been shot. Her leg eventually amputated.
Once the case was won, she was turned over to us, and she was just waiting for the right adopter to come along, snatch her up.
And along the right adopters came.
My wife and I just want to provide her a happy home for the rest of her life, and she's really, really fitting in real good, so.
Now Mika is named Cleo and has found her forever home.
So she's just the most loving and sweetest and respectful dog, to be honest, that I've ever encountered.
But she's more than just a rescue for Zach Monticello.
You guys ready? Hey, Cleo, you ready? Go! Obviously, as you can see, she is a front leg amputee, and I'm an upper extremity amputee.
Zach lost his arm after a UTV crash in 2024.
On the 1-year anniversary of my accident, I saw a video you guys shot with her hopping down a hallway, so I was up there, I think, a day or two later, and she came home.
There are still tons of MASH unit animals available for adoption right now with no adoption fees. All of them looking for an ending to their story like Cleo's.
This is pretty special. Something like this just doesn't happen every day. I say a match made in heaven. It's amazing how well they've clicked together and how they bonded.
Cleo did sneak out one toy from the MASH unit. Sergeant Miller isn't going to hold it against her.
And we're just super happy for her and for him.
It's helped me out a lot, and I hope that in return I'm helping her too.
In her new home, Cleo's become close with everyone, but Zach most of all.
I will tell you she's extremely emotionally intelligent. After we loaded her in the car leaving MASH, not long after, she came up and came between the driver's seat and was sniffing, what's left of my arm, and she just put her head right here on the shoulder and kept it there for a while. So I do think she understands we share something.
Next up, we have Cody. You've probably seen Cody. In October of 2024, he went viral for his Halloween costume where he dressed up as an IHOP. I didn't know this because I thought he was only at the Tompkins Square Halloween dog parade in New York City, but he was also at the Doggone Halloween parade in downtown Boston. So apparently he did a bit of a tour in that costume, but videos of him were everywhere. Not only in October 2024, but last year we had him as well, and also a dozen other videos of Tripawds who took that lovely idea. Next up, we also have two Goldens that you may have seen before. This is Kiko and Watson. Kiko was diagnosed with osteosarcoma a couple years ago, a type of bone cancer that can be very aggressive, and that led to the amputation of his front right leg. These two dogs were very famous on social media, and their bit is that Watson gives hugs, and he continued to give hugs when Kiko became a tripod. We'll show you a video that you've probably seen.
Is Kiko a good boy? Is he a good boy? Why are you
precious? Kiko did pass in late 2022 from that cancer, but his human continues to share his story as well as Watson on the internet in all forms. They take phenomenal photos, and they're a great follow. I believe it's Watkey, WAT.KI, is their Instagram handle, and probably TikTok. Then we have Lucy, the most famous three-legged dog on television, in my opinion. Lucy was a rescue dog, and went on to become a full-blown actor. She was adopted from an LA shelter in 2004. She starred in commercials and was an extra in Hotel for Dogs in 2009. Her biggest role was the recurring character of Champion in Parks and Recreation. Champion was a three-legged mutt adopted by April and Andy from the Pawnee Animal Shelter. They described her as half amazing and half terrific. Considered a dog world champion because it's a he. Because he can do more with 3 legs than most dogs can do with 4. And finally, we have Zeppelin. Zeppelin is a rescue dog. In May of 2022, Zeppelin got a stuffy mini-me of himself that also featured his one missing left front leg. We sadly have to say goodbye to Champ, but you don't if you adopt him. That's my good segue. That's my very good segue. A reminder that Champ is an almost 2-year-old pitty. He's available for adoption from Maison Sur in West Hollywood, California. He's a blast. And he's been a blast this entire time. Again, he is good with other dogs and kids with a proper introduction. And while he does have 3 legs, he does have a ton of energy. And hopefully you have the resources and an entire community that we've just introduced you to assist with anything you may be wondering, anything you may need, and his adoption fee is covered. If you enjoyed this episode, give it a like, subscribe if you haven't already. If you're listening to this, add us to your playlist on Apple Music or Spotify, and we'll see you next time with another Adoptable special guest.
Oh, that looks like a good dog. That's a good dog. Yeah, that looks like a good dog. A very good dog. Hey, that looks like a